With members of Congress returning to Washington tomorrow, the president is pushing for tax cuts now to help give all Americans a break.
This is our once-in-a-generation opportunity to deliver real tax reform for everyday, hardworking Americans. And I am fully committed to working with Congress to get this job done. And I don't want to be disappointed by Congress. Do you understand me?
A new Fox News poll finds most Americans do want tax cuts, but they doubt they're going to happen. So are tax cuts in the cards for this year? Are they in or are they out? With us now, Bold founder Carrie Sheffield and Democratic strategist Wendy Osefo. Good to see both of you ladies. It's the ladies' show today. You know, Carrie, I'll start with you. Do we get tax cuts in 2017?
Oh, I hope so. And I got to give a shout out. He was in Springfield, Missouri, my hometown. Go Vikings. But this is what we need. He was in the heartland because that's where the heartland has been hurt. We've had jobs fleeing the country. We have money locked overseas. We need to get that money back. We're going to do that through tax cuts. I'm so disappointed by what's happening with Mitch McConnell. He needs to get the Viagra of politics. He's got to get more energy. He's got to get this bill passed. It's possible. And the other thing is, I know the Democrats are going on Capitol Hill. President Trump should twist some arms because he's got leverage. I mean, he won at least, I think, 8 or 9 states of senators who are up for re-election who are Democrats, and they're vulnerable.
Yeah, well, you know what? It seems to me, Wendy, that he really put the onus on Congress, and he kind of covered himself. He basically said, okay, Congress, it's up to you. So if they do get tax reform done this year, early next year, he can pat himself on the back. But if they don't, he can point the finger and blame somebody.
Absolutely.
Did he give himself cover?
He's trying to give himself cover, but what is really important here is that Trump and the Republicans desperately need a legislative win here. And I commend him actually for getting his boots on the ground and getting the word out. However, this is going to be a very uphill sell for the American people. Half of the American population will not be directly impacted by this, and only 10% of income earners pay 71% in federal taxes. So if I were to advise Trump here, if he wants to move this forward, what he needs to do is he needs to take a page out of JFK's playbook. Talk about how every dollar spent will create new jobs, will create new salary, economic growth, employment for all. If he does not do that and this legislative agenda does not get passed, then the Republicans will have a big uphill battle when it comes to the midterms.
They do need a legislative win. Absolutely, Carrie. I just feel like a lot of Americans don't know what a tax cut really feels like because it's been 3 decades since we got one. So my argument would be, why can't this be a bipartisan issue and we can get a deal done?
Well, and that's exactly what Ronald Reagan did. He worked with a Democratic Congress to pass tax reform in 1986. So it is so possible. I think that, I mean, the Republicans have to get their stuff together. I mean, Republicans own both, they run both houses of Congress. I don't understand why this is not possible, but it is true. There are vulnerable Democrats who they need a win themselves if they want to preserve their seats. So I hope that the president will put some leverage on the Democrats and say, you know what, we need this for everyone.
The president is certainly pitching and trying to sell the plan right now. We do give him credit for that. But in the backdrop and maybe the forefront, you do have Hurricane Harvey. Wendy, do you think tax reform or any part of the agenda, the White House agenda, gets pushed back because we're dealing with a natural disaster?
That could be a possibility, and it will actually be a missed opportunity for the Republicans because right now the markets are ripe. Wall Street is looking great for this tax reform to happen, and this is the time to do it. And again, this is not something we want to do going into the midterms. They have to pass this, but again, lives have been lost. Harvey has completely devastated the Texas Gulf Coast, and if that's something that seems as though it's a priority, then I have to tip my hat to that because we have to make sure that our fellow Americans in the Gulf Coast are okay. And if the legislative agenda when it comes to tax reform has to be put on the back burner, I think that Harvey is okay to take over that.
I think you should do both because if you want to rebuild Houston, if you want to have just businesses coming back to life, springing back up, the best way to do that is through tax reform.
All right, ladies, thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks.
All right. Well, Harvey.